The Secret of Nim. This is the first part of my Don Bluth review series. The Secret of Nim is a phenomenal movie for many, many reasons. I think, honestly, this movie is very underrated because, yes, I think there are lots of animation nerds and people who have seen this movie and I'm sure they love this movie. But at the same time, I'm sure there are lots of people that haven't seen this movie and don't know how wonderful this movie is. And if you don't know that, like, go watch this movie. It's fucking incredible. But this movie has a lot to say. I've never read the books. I should state that this is based on. But if you don't know the story of Don Bluth, I'm gonna briefly summarize it and then talk about the backstory of this movie and then get into the movie itself. Basically, Don Bluth was an animator at Disney. Wanted to work at Disney ever since he was a kid. Gets there, realizes, hey, it's the dark ages of Disney, things aren't going great. So he takes a bunch of animators, goes, fuck you, things are going bad over here, we're going to go make our own shit. And then they get enough funding on a very minuscule budget to make The Secret of Nim, which there's only a few $1,000s. Movie failed at the box office, but that's kind of the story of this movie. And I think that story is very impressive because you watch this movie and it's some of the best hand-drawn animation ever made. Like, you cannot tell that this movie is low budget. I almost wonder the only reason this movie doesn't feel that way is they trimmed down sequences where maybe there was more of a dramatic, like, big epic plot device and like some of the other Disney movies like The Rescuers, they have big set pieces and things like that, where this doesn't really have that. It has moments of that, but not in the same way. But it still feels like a movie Disney would have made. And that just really shows who Don Bluth was. He was a Disney animator, and he left the company to make his own movies. And made a movie that is better than, I would say, majority of Disney's catalog. To be honest, this movie is incredibly well written. It has a lot of great themes and darker elements. Even Don Bluth himself said that the team's goal was to make more of a adult angle to this movie, where it was closer to getting to a PG-13. Well, I wouldn't say PG-13. It was a PG because PG at the time was, in a way, PG-13 sometimes. Like, and you could see that in this movie. It took a more of adult focus. There were moments of little bits of blood in one scene. And all that just really worked to pay off and make this film so much stronger. And it's really well, and all the voice acting in this movie is great. And our main character, Miss Brisby, is such a great lead character throughout this movie, where she is a character who's literally willing to do anything for her family. She takes a bunch of risky moments and she nearly dies at several points, but it's all in the service of her family, and you really see that throughout the movie. She's a very great character throughout the entire film. I absolutely adore this film. I think it's such a well-paced movie. It's beautifully animated. It's got great voice acting. It's got great characters. It has a great score to this movie, composed by Jerry Goldsmith, I believe is his name. It's Jerry something. I'm forgetting his name. He did some of the Star Trek movies, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a really great composer. I love a lot of his stuff, and this is another great example of that. It's just a great movie. Let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.